This is really a video putting out there so y'all can respond, have a little fun with this thing. Is Captain Zaria correct? So let's go.
You said, then he came to a question where he asked you, were there strangers in the wilderness with us? When we were in Egypt, he asked you, were the strangers Israelites?
Right.
And you said there was no other. Yes, you said yes, the strangers was Israelites. And you also said that there was no mixed multitude that went out with Israel out of the land of Egypt.
No, there was a mixed multitude that went out with the children of Israel, but that mixed multitude was men, women, and children that was not a part of the military of Israel.
Let's rewind that back.
Multitude that went out with Israel out of the land of Egypt.
No, there was a mixed multitude that went out with the children of Israel, but that mixed multitude was men, women, and children that was not a part of the military of Israel.
Say it again.
That went out Israel out of the land of Egypt.
No, there was a mixed multitude that went out with the children of Israel, but that mixed multitude was men, women, and children that was not a part of the military of Israel.
So the mixed multitude, according to what he just said, I'll let you hear it 3 times. You can rewind it back, bring it back 4, 5, 6 to 100 times. Okay, that's what he said, that the stranger of the mixed multitude were actually, in fact, Israelites. So what say y'all?
All right, Shalom, Israel. And before we begin, as always, I'd like to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakwak Wadash. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone. Honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth and sincerity. And the mixed multitude that is spoken of in Exodus chapter 12, verses 37 through 38. They were not Israelites. All right. Captain Tazariak is wrong again. All right. For them to be called the so-called home of the truth, they are always putting out false information, false breakdowns, no understanding of what's truly going on. So let's get into it. This Exodus chapter 12, verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children. So who are these men? Who is this 600,000 that was on foot? Go to Numbers, right? Going to Numbers chapter 1, verse 45. And as you can see up top, it says what? The census of Israel warriors. So going to verse 45. Numbers chapter 1, verse 45. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. Even all they that were numbered were 600,000 and 3,550. So that is those men. All right, those men were warriors. All right, were the army. So with the army, okay, reading it over again. 2 Ezra chapter 12, verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men, once again, the warriors of Israel, from 20 years old and upward, beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them. And who is this mixed multitude? This mixed multitude are heathen nations. All right. That is that mixed multitude. How do we know that? Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13. Let's see. We'll start at verse 1. All right. And as you can see, it say foreigners excluded. This is how you know they was with us. All right. Yes, the mixed multitude They were heathens that was with us. And now in Nehemiah chapter 13, you're reading about when they got excluded, meaning set apart, kicked out the way, removed. This is Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 1. On that day, they read in the book of Moses, in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, forever. Who are the Ammonites and the Moabites of today? Ammon will be the so-called Japanese. Moab will be the so-called Chinese. Because they met the children of Yasharallah, the children of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans of today, according to your father, with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit, our power turned the curse into a blessing. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated Israel from all, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. See that? So that mixed multitude were once again what? Heathen nations. All right. Now let's go to Numbers chapter 11 real quick. So this Numbers chapter 11, and this is verse 4. And the mixed multitude, meaning the heathen nations, that was among them fell a lusting. Yeah, that was among them fell a lusting, meaning what? Felt like hungry, like desiring food, complaining. You see that? That's what it means by feeling a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? You see that? So you had a mixed multitude, the heathen nations that was among Israel, crying out and weeping, all right, because of wanting bread, meat, what have you. Wanting bread, meat, what have you. To the point where it even caused the children of Israel to also start weeping and moaning and crying and lusting at the meat. And they said what? And said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. You see that? So they was complaining. And why did they start complaining? Who first started complaining? The mixed multitude, the heathens that was amongst the Israelites, which caused the Israelites to start to complain. The manna was no longer any good for them. You see that? Now they wanted the things that they left behind in Egypt. See that? Lusting after Egypt, wanting to go back to Egypt, trusting in Egypt. Here it is, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. It's leading you to your own land, giving you great substance coming out of Egypt. And here it is, you boiled out Israelites, weeping and moaning and thinking about Egypt and wanting to go back to Egypt because of the mixed multitude, the heathens that are among you started complaining. So now you complaining. You see that? Now let's take it back. So taking it back to Exodus chapter 12, verse 37 through 38. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramsey to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men, which represents what? The army, the warriors, beside children, and a mixed multitude, the heathen nations that was amongst us, went up also with them, and flocks and herds and every much cattle. Yeah, the things that we had got from Egypt, the great substance that we walked out of Egypt with. Verse 39, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt, and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. And as we just read, what ended up happening, that unleavened bread, that manna cake, it wasn't good enough. And the first group of people to start to complain and lust after Egypt was who? The multitude, the heathens, which caused the children of Israel to start complaining. All right, and start to think about Egypt, thinking about the dainties, thinking about the fish, the cucumbers, the melons, and so forth and so on. But not being grateful and thankful of all the things that they had witnessed and had been brought through while receiving their salvation, their deliverance out of the hands of Egypt. You see that? So indeed, that mixed multitude were not the Israelites. They were the other nations. So with that, I'd like to say all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakwakodash. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone. Honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth and sincerity. Shalom.
One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. When it touched the ground, it created an earthquake like about a 3.5 swirl. It terrified everybody in the area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that Air Force base, the commander, had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they are a black race. They look like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5". These tight-fitting black leather outfits on, and the weapons that they came out of the ships with, they were huge weapons, and